is it, boys and girls, the 2020 Perodua Bezza facelift. Perodua says that this car is now lebih padu, bolder and smarter. And this facelift bukan tukar bumper je, there's a lot more changes inside under the skin, and this is a pretty big upgrade for a mere facelift. So should you get this car or the comparably priced Proton Saga? Let's take a closer look. So let's start with the most obvious changes first, the visuals. Up front, you get this much slimmer, much sleeker, full LED headlamps, which is a first for the A segment sedan class. It does make the front look a lot neater and sportier than before, but unfortunately, there's still no LED DRLs for the front, which, Perodua, I just don't understand that. Obviously, the bumper is also new. It's a lot more sculpted now with more elements pointing outwards to make the car look lower to the ground and obviously sportier, because Perodua says everybody wants a sporty looking car in Malaysia. On the side, you've also got bigger 15-inch wheels with a dual tone finish, and for the front at least, this is a very good looking facelift in my books. But as for the back, I think it's slightly less successful. The LED tail lamps are same as before, but that's fine. But they've also changed the whole rear bumper to make it look bigger, much more deeper, to combat the, tonggit looks of the old Bezza. But in doing so, they've also made the car look narrower and taller. And for a small sedan, that's not such a good look. In the middle here, there's also a much bigger diffuser section, which is fine, very in tune with the times. But there's also a very big cutout for the exhaust, even though the actual pipe is a small one hiding way inside the bumper. Well, at least there's going to be a lot of aftermarket fix for that. But then again, don't forget that this is Perodua's very first attempt at making its own proper sedan. So perhaps, maybe the next one will look even better. And I know some of you may think that this is a straight rebadge of the Toyota Etios. Well, no, that's completely not related at all. This is based on the Asia platform with a body that Perodua designed on its own, completely in-house. Another major upgrade, which I think is even more significant than the visual changes, is the inclusion of ASA 2.0 up there. This is the same system fitted to the Asia and the Arus, and it has AEB, or autonomous emergency braking, at up to 80 kilometers per hour with pedestrian detection. So that is pretty cool. Remember, in Malaysia, some cars costing 5 times, 10 times even compared to this car at 50,000 ringgit still do not have AEB. So for the Bezza to have that is such a fantastic thing. But this is only fitted to the top of the range Perodua Bezza 1.3 AV, and this costs 50,000 ringgit. The range starts from under 35,000 ringgit. So let's take a closer look at the more affordable models first. This here is the base model Bezza 1.0 Standard G, and for this you get an option between a 5-speed manual for 34,500 ringgit or a 4-speed automatic for 36,500 ringgit. Unfortunately, you can only get the manual with the smaller 1-litre engine. The 1.3s are all autos. Under the hood is the same 1-litre 3-cylinder engine with VVTi, and this makes 67 horsepower and 91 Newton meters of torque, sending power to the front wheels. As always, fuel efficiency has always been a key feature, a key strength of the Bezza, and the entire range is claimed to do more than 20 kilometers per litre. But while the engine is unchanged, there are some changes, some fine-tuning done to the mechanicals of this car. The suspension has been tuned slightly to give better handling and better stability compared to the old car. Visually, you can mark out the 1-litre standard G models by this standard silver instead of chrome grille, no fog lamps, and smaller 14-inch alloy wheels taken from the Myvi 1.3. The B pillars have also been changed from black to body color, which is a bit of a pity, but at the same time, they've also made the wing mirror indicators standard on this car, so there's no more bulbs on the front fenders. As for the inside, the Bezza 1-litre carries very minimal changes from the pre-facelift model, other than this new silver line for the center console, as well as this white base instrument cluster. The rest of the car remains largely the same, although you do now get Bluetooth even for the base model, which has been fixed compared to the new Asia range. Beyond that, you get the standard seats, which are not very comfortable or supportive, and there's still the same standard safety systems as before, just ABS and EBD with 2 airbags and no VSC. So if you can stretch your budget to the 1.3 models, yes, I do recommend that very much. Next, we have the Perodua Bezza 1.3X, and this again is auto only. This goes for just under 44,000 ringgit. But before you talk about the big price difference between this and the 1 litre, there is a big difference in terms of what you get as well. The biggest difference, of course, is the engine here. It's now a 4-cylinder 1.3 litre engine with dual VVTi, and this makes 94 horsepower and 121 Newton meters of torque. So there's a big upgrade in terms of performance, but more importantly, in terms of refinement as well. This will vibrate a lot less than a 3-cylinder engine. Another big difference is the inclusion of VSC, which is now fitted to the 1.3X for this facelift range. So between the 1 litre and the 1.3, this is a much better buy, I think. And to me, I think the Bezza range starts from the 1.3X and above. On the outside, the 1.3 litre models gain back this chrome front grille, fog lamps, and of course the bigger 15-inch dual-tone alloys. Around the back, it also gets black painted B-pillars, and you also get tinted windows as standard on all 1.3 litre models. The 1.3X also adds on a bunch of extra features, including keyless entry, a push start button, a much more comfortable semi-bucket fabric seats, which is height adjustable for the driver, and for the back, the rear headrest is now adjustable instead of being fixed. The top of the range Bezza 1.3 AV looks identical to the 1.3X, apart of course from the aforementioned ASA 2.0 cameras. The bigger differences are on the inside. For just under 50,000 ringgit, the top of the range 1.3 AV brings about this full camera system, and this is where all the active safety systems are housed. Down here you get a full touchscreen system with a reverse camera. You also get a leather covered steering wheel with dedicated audio controls down here, as well as fully leather semi-bucket seats. The seats even have this rather nice suede touches, which for an entry-level car is pretty neat. Like before, you also get an eco-idle automatic start-stop system, but as most owners will turn it off, that's not even worth a mention for me. But one of the biggest complaints for the Bezza from the very start was its rear bench, where it's been a little bit too upright, a little bit uncomfortable for long distance journeys. So for the facelift, Perodua has finally fixed this issue by making it a little bit more reclined, by angling it even more from 23 degrees to 27 degrees. So now it's a lot more comfortable at the back here, and they've done this without affecting its rear legroom as well as the boot space, both of which are still class leading. For those who want to individualize their cars even more, that's of course the gear up packages. For an additional 2,000 ringgit, you can get a full dynamic body kit package, which adds on LED light strips at the front bumper. While these may look like DRLs, unfortunately they are still just LED light guides that you may have to turn on. Other than that, there's the usual add-ons such as window visors, additional chrome strips, leather covers for the seats, coil mats, and even LED scuff plates. So there you go, a comprehensive look at the 2020 Perodua Bezza facelift range. Compared to the Saga, yes, this is slightly more expensive spec to spec, and if you look at the low end of the range, the Saga does have an advantage in terms of having a standard 1.3 litre engine, whereas this one here has a 3-cylinder 1 litre engine. But as you move up the range, the advantage sort of swings towards Perodua slightly more, at least on paper. With the Bezza, you get full LED headlights, you also get VSC on more models, you get a much more practical interior, and of course the all-important ASA active safety features on the top model. But then again, are these features that you are willing to pay more for? Let us know in the comments section below. Either way, it's good to see that the two Malaysian national car makers are properly competing against each other more and more. As they try to one-up each other at every step of the way, the ones who benefit are us, the consumers. In a way, which one do you think is better, the Saga or the Bezza? Let us know in the comments below. Thank you for watching.